So now I'm going to present here to you guys on a mannequin head live, step by step, how I cut, how I do classic cut. Okay, so you don't get lost. So you just follow me, and then what you can do, a good suggestion for you, get a mannequin head and just follow my steps. That's gonna be very, very easy for you. Very, very easy. Just follow the step. Remember, when you look at the presentation, the screen, when I was telling you the steps, what the steps are, the first thing we need to do, make sure the hair is wet. You know, shampoo your client's hair, do spray some water, because there you're sectioning, you'll be more correctly, you'll be more neat. So now the second thing we do the recessions. Okay, so now we know where to put our guidelines, our base, our where to start sectioning the top and separating from the top from the sides. Now our recessions. Okay, so first recession, one of those classes here in this course you already learned. I'm going to put my high recession, mid and low recession. Okay, high recession, my high recession. That's where I'm going to section out my V panel. Mid recession, finger width lower, the tip of the eyebrow, my lower recession. Recession is really important because now you will understand why I do this. Okay, why I put the recessions. Then make sure you're going to groom the hair, detangle the hair. Okay, first, if you're working with longer hair especially, or mid-length hair, groom the hair, make sure that it's nice, correct. So now what we do is we're going to take our V panel. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take our V panel. Okay, V panel. You're gonna put your finger on the comb and you're gonna sweep all the way to the center of the crown. Okay, starting from our higher recession all the way to the center of the head to the crown. I'm going to show you how do I do this. So I sweep all the way back here. I'm going to show you where. Now you groom the hair all the way to the other side. So I have my first line, as you can see. Let me show you. My first lines come all the way to the center of the head and the crown. And now what I'm about to do is I groomed everything this way. Now what I'm about to do is where this line with this, where I put this first section, where it on the center of the crown, I'm using my tip of my finger again, my comb, and I'm going to sweep and create another, and that's my V panel. And then I'm going to start grooming everything inside my hands. Everything inside my hands. My hand goes palms up. I start grooming everything into my hands. Everything here into my hands. Okay. And I'm gonna separate the top from the side so I can start working like more free. So now I'm twisting the hair, because now I'm going to clip this here. Now I can work free with both sides. Now let me show you what I just have done. So why I call V panel? Because it does look like a V, as you can see, it does look like a V. There's a huge point here, and then it's kind of open from my high recession. As you can see, that's a V panel. This I use on my daily basics, so I can cut diagonal back when the person is going to groom the hair backwards. You're gonna run their finger through the hair, just put back. Or when I'm cutting a short hair like this, I use V panel as well. My next step is creating my base, as you saw on the screen. So now I'm creating my base all around the head. Okay, I'm gonna choose a mid recession. Okay, first recession, the high recession, I took my triangle panel, triangle big panel, and then I'm gonna take my guide, my base in my mid recession. Okay, my mid recession all the way behind the ear. What I'm gonna do, I'm going to cut with my finger parallel with the head and 0 degrees, meaning that I'm cutting horizontal. But when I pass my ears, when I pass the ears, what I'm gonna do, I'm going to do diagonal back so I can maintain more length and strength in the crown, so I don't go too high with my clippers. So let's start doing my putting our base. So now that's my base on the mid recession. Okay, that's my base on the mid recession. I'm putting in my base with my shears. So now it is horizontal, but now right behind the ears, what I'm gonna do, right behind the ears, I'm going to start cutting diagonal back so I save more hair from the crown. So diagonal back, diagonal back. That's only my base. Remember, in the class where I teach you guys how to create your base, we have in this class live right now how you create your base live. So I stop in the beak, in the center of the head, where my triangle is, where my triangle big panel is, a V big panel, V panel. So now I have my base around the head. So now I have my base. I'm going to debulk this. This is my transition area, and then the top is going to be sitting on this foundation. This is a foundation from the top. Okay, now now I know I stop in the center of the head. I stop right there. So now I start on the other side. Okay, on the other side, on my mid recession as well. So my mid recession is going to be right here, as you can see. Now I'm going to put my finger and separate my base on my mid recession. And what I'm about to do is I'm going to connect this side on the same height and length all the way with the back where I stop the other side. So now I'm doing this right now. That's my base. See behind the ears now, diagonal back, but my finger now will point down because all I want to do is to meet and connect with the one that I just finished on the other side. You see the angle of my finger is pointing down. Now I don't create a beak. My hands now is going to be very horizontal. Just follow the head shape. So what I did now, I connect. Now I have my base done. So now guys, I'm going to start drying the hair 100% down now, because I don't like personally cut debulk while the hair is wet. So I like to debulk when the hair is dry, because I have a more precise cutting. You know, I'm going to remove everything, and the hair that when it's wet, what's gonna happen is gonna go in between the two blades on your clipper, and it's gonna be stagnant. You know, it's gonna slow down your blades. That's how I think, that's how I do, but you don't have to do that. You can cut wet as well. I'm gonna dry this 100% first down. So when I say downwards, it's because I want the base pop out a little bit, so I see it where I'm going to have to stop. So now I'm going to use medium heat, so I don't dry out the hair too much, and the pressure also is going to be medium. As you see, I use my blow dryer, medium heat, medium pressure, and also a vent brush, so the hair is not too much, the air doesn't have too much pressure, and push and make this like very flat. Like now with the vent brush that I use, is very lets the hair very natural. Now it's very simple and easy. I'm going to start debulking with my number 2. So closed, number 2 closed. Now I know where my base is because I dried the hair all the way. I finished drying. So now I'm going to debulk up to my base. So now number 2, I'm going to stay. Like I said, you need to focus and you position your body where you can see, because I can't be cutting back here like this. Can't be cutting back here because I'm not seeing it. So cut what's in parallel with you, and then you do penguin step around the head. So I'm gonna debulk number 1 panel of the head, 2nd panel, 3rd panel, and 4th panel that's going to be on the other side. So now number 2, let's debulk around the head. Remember the 3 motions I showed you in one of those classes here in this course? The motion that I'm using now, I'm rubbing at the same time that I'm scooping. When I get to the point I meet my base, I scoop out a little bit so I don't mark any more other lines higher. So that's what I do. I kind of rub until I remove everything, but at the same time I'm scooping just a little bit, but not a full C. It's like an open C. Let me show you. Slow motion. If I go straight up, I'm gonna cut my base, and then I'm gonna create another hole there, but I'm slightly take a little bit my clipper off the head, just a little bit in this motion. As you can see, I debulk all around the head, maintaining my crown, maintaining my base. You see, I have my crown now. This, I'm setting a foundation so this can connect with the sides and back. And now I'm going to make my taper, which is my outline here, my hairline. So now I'm going to use my trimmers to create my hairline, to do my outline of the head, because since this is a classic haircut, it's going to be, there's no fading, no graduation in here. So classic cut is like this, is a longer, where barbers can cut with the shears and clippers. In this case I'm using clippers, and I'm going to do a sideburn square. I'm gonna clean it up, the C-cup here, the temple bone line, outline, hairline, and then around the ears and back. So here I'm gonna create a sideburn that is a square, and I'm going to show you how to use this, the trimmers, okay? That's how you do it, where the trimmer has like a T outline, right? And then I'm going to use the corners to curve and make where we have roundness, where we can do curves, the corners with the tip of the corners of the trimmers. We use the tip of the blade like a pencil to kind of drawing lines into the hair line, and I'm gonna use a full blade where I have the sideburns, sides and back. I'm gonna use the full blade because there's a big area and I can use the full blade. Okay, first thing you do is turn on your trimmer, and then I'm gonna start doing my sideburns, and then the C-cup here around the ears and back. full blade, and now I'm using the tip of the comb of my trimmer just to create my C cup here. Okay, so now I'm using the tip, the bottom part of the tip of my trimmer, to do the contours around the ears. And I stop in the center, right on top of the ear, and I start with the other tip of the trimmers, and I connect back the line from behind the ears with the one that I just stopped. So now I have a clean line, a clean outline, hairline, and then here I use my full blade. Full blade, back, full blade on a hairline, full blade, so my guideline I took from the corner, but you can also take a guideline from the center first, and then you move on to the sides and connect both lines. So I'm going to do the same thing on this side. And then I start all over again on the other side. So square sideburns, C cup, you can see I'm going to stop right on top of the ears, and then I'm going to use the other corner, the other tip of the blade to connect with the top of the ear. Now line comes straight back and meet the one on the bottom, nice and straight, flat, straight, square. You guys notice that I cut all the sides first, the side and back, and I make sure everything's clean, the taper are done. Now I can use my straight razor and make sure this is nice and clean and neat, and then I'm moving to the top. So this is how I work with my trimmers to create my my hairline, whatever you choose. You can taper here, you can taper there, but since this is a classic cut, I'm only making sure that I have square sideburns. It's very classic, you know, classic that people that used to do back in time, they still do it, you know. You must have a client that does this. So now this will incentivate you, will help you to understand. So now we're gonna move into the top. So now guys, I'm releasing the hair on the top, our V panel. I'm going to groom everything backwards. Okay, I finished cutting the sides, and I'm going to groom this hair backwards. And for one, where the eyebrows start here, I'm gonna take my profile guide. Remember when I showed you my profile guide? First on this side, straight back, all the way back, and then on the other eyebrow here, sweep your comb, and you're going to be left with your profile guide. When I say profile, this is what I mean. This is what I'm going to cut from the side, standing from the side, and choose my length and my shape. Now I'm going to cut standing from the side. I'm going to turn the head so you guys can see it. Instead, I go on the other side. I'm gonna pick a piece of my profile guide, lift it up, and I'm going to cut flat. You see my body position. I'm nice and comfortable. Now, this is my first cutting line, small cutting line joined together. I'm creating my shape, and this also is going to be my length. So now I have a profile guide, and I have also my guide from the first cutting line here, and I'm cutting straight back. Cutting straight back, lifting the hair up. So now I do have my length. So this is my length in my shape right here. So now I'm going to groom this hair to one side. This is my length and my shape. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take like horizontal sections on the side, and I'm going to lift up the hair, and in between my fingers I will see my guide in the center. Look, so now I groom this hair to one side, and now I come to the side, take one small section, pick it up from behind. Now you can see my guide on the center. My fingers are flat. My finger position, remember, hand position are flat because I want to create this a square shape. Take another section from behind, from the sides, come behind the hair, because behind you can make sure you can't be cutting the hair from here and cut the hair there, because now your body position are not correctly, because you can't see straight. So now I'm behind. Now, once you finish, groom this hair backwards. So you take another clean section, groom the hair into your finger, and cut, groom backwards. Take another small section. You're always going to see your guide right here. Always going to see your guide on the center of the head where you create your profile guide. So now, lifting the hair straight up with my finger flat, parallel with the head. Even here on the fringe in front, you're going to see your guide that is right here. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm groom this backwards. I'm gonna take one small section, one small guide, and groom to the other side so I can have a guide, my length, so I can finish cutting the left hand side. What I'm gonna do, step to the side, step back behind, lift the hair up, and my guide is right here. Cut it straight, groom the hair, and keep on doing the same thing. Now you can't get lost because the hair, the length, the guide is right on the center. So now you have your guide. If you have to cut the hair that is between your finger, but use the shears from here to here only, because while you're cutting, if you follow your finger at the end, if there's hair inside here, you start curving and creating another shape. If you go all the way deep to here, you start creating another shape, which is round. You're gonna break the square shape on the sides, the little corner. We don't want that. I'm only cutting between tip of my finger and this line right here on my index and middle finger. Let's see. That's it. Very clean lines. Put tension on the hair. Since I'm cutting square shape, put tension, finger, pull up and straight, 180 degrees, and cut you straight. So now you do have a disconnected haircut. Which I didn't create my connection yet. So now the top is following on top of my base, and my base are much smaller. So now it's time to connect his hair, and I want to show you how you do that. Okay, so now what you can do, you can split the hair on the center. Very easy. Split the hair on the center, very center. From behind, we're gonna cut in vertically, because now I'm creating layers and it's gonna be a square shape. But this connection is very smooth, because there's 3 ways you can connect his hair. You can connect his hair vertically. You can do some diagonal back, which is graduation. It's gonna be more graduated. Or you can use horizontal. You can pull all the way the hair to your base and pull in horizontal like this, but you're going to create a massive of weight around. If that's what you want, cool, but if it's not, you know what's gonna happen now. There's 3 ways to do that now. So, but now I'm gonna take vertical sections, okay? Fingers gonna cut, you're gonna pick up the hair, So now what you have your base. Your base is going to be right under here. That's your guide. But make sure your fingers are very flat against the head, and open up a little bit. And now you can continue to doing the same all around the head, but from behind I cut the sides, and now I keep turning my body. In this case, I'm turning the mannequin. As you can see, my base are under here. Don't focus on nothing on the top. My base are here. So that's why we have the base set up already. So, and then I'm cutting very straight, and I do a little bit different on this side. Since I was cutting behind, picking up all the hair and pulling to me. Now I'm gonna push the hair on the other direction, here. I'm gonna turn my comb. I'm gonna use the wider side. And now from the front, still picking up in vertical sections. Let me show how it looks like from here. So now I have my base here on my mid recession, and I'm cutting straight up, and I'm going to be pushing the hair without losing my guide, without losing my base. See, I don't lose, and I keep pushing backwards. Open up, the tip of my finger will stay on the hair, but my knuckles is out of the hair. The head is kind of fluctuating, like floating, and I keep pushing, and I'm gonna meet back here. There's nothing there. So now my connections are done. As you can see now, let me show you here. You can groom the hair backwards. The hair is very smooth, the connection, but I still have overlapping here, which I'm going to do. I'm going to blow dry, making sure this is 100% dry. I'm gonna use my regular shears to break a little bit of the overlapping that I have. Make sure this transition nice and smooth. Again, medium heat, medium pressure on the hair dryer, vent brush. I'm going to dry everything backwards. I'm creating a little bit volume here on the fringe, so you guys can see, and then I'm start using my regular shears to take off what is overlapping, and then I'm going to use my blending shears. So what I do here now is I'm creating a little bit volume here. So this is a classic cut. You see, with my connection in vertical, there's almost no overlapping. But now what I do, I dry the sides first, and then I dry the crown, then I dry the top. After, I'm gonna finish the fringe. reason why I dry this way, start from the sides, giving a little lift here on the base, making sure my base are I create the shape already. And then the reason why I do this is because if I start drying everything from the front towards the back, what's gonna happen? I'm pulling all the dry hair on top of the white hair, wet hair. So that's why I start from the back, sides, back, top, and then the fringe. That's how I do it. So now I'm going to dry the other side, and I switch hands with my because it's going to be very awkward if I don't switch hands. You see, I can't dry like this. It's really awkward. Now I switch hands, and it's going to be very easy for me to do it. So now I'm going to use my regular shears, not the blending shears, my comb. So I'm gonna do a scissor over comb to start blending this. The idea of using my shears so I don't take away too much of my shape, because if I use clipper I might end up cutting too much and cutting the square shape that I created on the side. So now I'm doing scissor over comb, just whatever is overlapping here. But since I cut vertical sections, now the hair is still very smooth already. Pick up the hair and just dust this hair all the way around whatever is overlapping, and you groom. Whatever is overlapping here. In here I have more overlapping hair. The hair is falling on top of my base from the top, and I still have a long piece of strands of hair. If you look now how much this hair is smooth already. I saved the crown, and my shape are still square. So now whatever, because when you use clippers and the base and the connection, this will stay very dark. Now I'm going to use my blending shears to take away that darkness, that density, and I'm going to use a little bit of my thinning shears on the top, and then I'm going to use point cutting technique to make this hair a little soft. But as you can see, you already see a classic cut that has been done, and the sides are very square. So now I'm going to use my blending shears, of course, with the teeth. You see, that's blending shears. I'm going to remove density and weight from the hair, okay? Only in the areas that I feel like, and make this transition. You only use this shear, guys, these shears where you see that it needs to be remove density. Like right here is very dark, very dense hair, and then I use moderated so I don't cut too much. These shears you only can use after you cut the length. Don't use this to cut length. And if you still have some overlapping hair here, use the regular shears first, and then use your blending shears. Slicing the hair. All the way around the head. Our classic cut is almost done. Groom. Every time you finish cutting, you groom to see if there's anything else. Now if you look here, nice and square, still have my classic cut. And now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna move behind so you guys can see what I'm doing it. I'm gonna tilt the head. I'm gonna take small sections on the top to remove a little bit of weight. You take one section on the crown and cut once. Don't cut on the same spot with your thinning shears. Cut it again and again. Towards the front, you're going to see it. I'm taking another section. Almost by the apex. So I'm gonna cut under. When I close, I move my shears. We cut under. Again, move and move. I don't cut at the same spot. You know why? Because this will take another section here. If I do that, if I cut in the same spot, I'm creating holes in the head. So that's my section over here. That's my last section that I'm going to cut on the root of the hair, because if I cut very short on a fringe with these shears, what's gonna happen? I'm creating some baby hairs here, so, and then it's gonna spike and poke out. So now one under, move the shears, 1, 2, 3, okay? So moving toward the fringe, take another section. I'm cutting, look, I'm cutting above my finger now, okay? And here on the fringe, and you're gonna do this in the whole head, just the tip of the hair, and that's it. So that's when you use and how you use your blending shears. Now I'm going to use a point cutting technique, which is gonna make this hair a little bit disconnected with more texture. So I'm gonna take the small sections, first section, and I'm going to come the same position that you do scissor over comb, and you're going to tilt it in your wrist, and you're going to pick up the hair, one section, and you're going to cut in between the hair like this, because now we're creating more texture. So I'm taking another section, another small section, and then you're adding some texture all the way around, all in the whole head, because now you can see I cut it blunt, right? Now you have too much hair. It doesn't look like a feather at all, but now it's gonna look like a feather, look. Now you can even see through. Now you do have, when I cut like this, I'm adding some texture. The hair is going to be light with more movement, and your client is gonna love it because it's gonna be much easier for them to, when you do this all to style, and you do this all around the head, okay? Even thin hair, you can do a little bit of texture, but not removing weight, but a little bit of texture that will allow you to create more volume using some product and create more volume while you're styling. So now the fringe, and how you start like adding this texture. If the hair is going that way, and you pick the hair on the opposite direction, because the hair will be nice and directed where the shears will come. So the fringe now, I blow dry the fringe backwards, right? Now, if I'm in front of the client, the hair is going to be that way towards the back, and my shear is gonna come right in, so I can add some texture. So now it's time to style the hair. So now, before you apply any product in this hair, blow dry with a little bit of heat, medium heat, no pressure, a little bit of pressure only. And what you have to do before you apply any product, you need to heat this hair up a little bit, making sure the hair is warm, because when you apply the product, the product will spread well, and that's how we do it. First, Make sure the hair is warm now. Guys, I chose to apply something more natural. Since this is a classic haircut, I don't want to do anything crazy. I apply in a scent on the palm of my hands, I spread well, and then I start slowly using the palm of my hands on the side and running my finger through to make like a fork, like this, like a comb. Palm of my hand on the side, just make the connection here more. And every single hair that is in this haircut now is going to have some product. And with this product, I'm gonna make my style. Style is very important. Every little technique, every product, every tool that you applied, now it's time to show. So what you're gonna do now, since this is a classic cut, you can use the tool, the comb, the brush, whatever you like. But now I'm using a vent brush. What I'm doing it, I'm brushing this hair backwards, and I'm maintaining my volume in the fringe, and my hands come right behind my fan brush. So now I have a classic haircut done for you guys step by step. Let me show you guys closer how it looked like. So now this is a classic cut, very classic cut. So what I did is make sure he is going to be square. Classic cut is not too short, there's no graduation. Long on the top, as you can see, you can run your finger through as well, make more natural. Nice and square. Here's the final outcome. Looking through the back. If you look like this way, you see how connected it is. There's no overlapping when you look at this way and this way. Both sides, my hairline are nice and square. Guys, this is the result, and I want to go and break down this for you very quick. So the first thing I do, wet out the hair, mark the recession, make my big V panel separating the top from the side, creating my base, dry the head downwards, and remove and debulk all the 4 panels around the head with number 2. And then I did my trimmer work. I did around the hairline, square on the sideburns, square on the nape. And once I done that, I finished the sides, and I start cutting the top by getting a profile guide on the center. Once I did the profile guide in the center, which is I took my length from the profile, I groomed my profile to one side of the head, took horizontal sections, lifter, cutting, matching my profile guide on the center all the way on the right side, and then I took a little bit of my profile, drove to the other side, lifted up, cut everything. After I did that, after I cut the top, I had to do the connection, since once you finish cutting the top, it's still long, no connection. Now, when I connect the hair, I split the hair on the center, and I cut the whole head in vertical position. When I did vertical, I smooth this a little bit. Instead being graduation, I make like a flat square shape on the sides all around the head. And once I done that, I dry all around the head. I dry the hair, and I use my regular shears to make sure there was no overlapping on the sides and back. Use my my texturizing shears, my blending shears, make sure there was no density, and I make sure I was balancing everything, the density around the head. Once I finished that, I took a little bit of volume using my blending shears on the top, as I showed you, and then I use point cutting technique to make this hair a little bit disconnect, and with more movement, make sure the hair will be very easy for the client to style at home. Now the hair is very light, and this is the result as you can see it. I hope you guys like, and I hope to see you on the next class. See you there.